Today we discuss about the poverty estimation committees in India. There are three important committees: Lakdawala Committee, Tendulkar Committee and Rangarajan Committee. Lakdawala Committee was constituted in the year 1993. Then Tendulkar Committee was constituted in the year 2004-5. Rangarajan Committee was constituted in the year 2012. Rangarajan Committee was the latest committee estimate poverty in India. Lakdawala Committee was the first time, 1993, firstly estimate poverty in India. Lakdawala Committee, the criteria suggested by the committee was calorie intake based on consumption expenditure. Lakdawala Committee suggested that a calorie intake was the basis of consumption expenditure. That will determine the poverty line. Then Tendulkar Committee, it was constituted in the year 2004-2005. The committee estimated poverty by using basic requirement of poor, such as housing, clothing, shelter, education, sanitation, travel expense and health, etc., to make poverty estimation realistic. The committee suggested to do away with the calorie-based criteria. The first committee, Lakdawala Committee, was constituted in the year 1993. The Lakdawala Committee was taking as the base as the calorie intake was taken as the base to estimate poverty. And then the Tendulkar Committee was taken as the base as the poor, such as housing, on the basis of lack of housing, lack of clothing, lack of shelter, lack of education, lack of sanitation, and lack of amount to travel, and lack of facility to access health. These are the poor. These are the basic requirement of the poor. They are not satisfied that basic requirement. They were considered as poor. To make the poverty estimation realistic, these are the factors we have to consider. The committee suggested to do away with the calorie-based criteria. Calorie-based criteria was not giving importance to Tendulkar Committee. Then the committee also suggested to have a uniform poverty line across rural and urban India. Tendulkar Committee give rural India and urban India have equal importance. The uniformity in the poverty line. There is no difference between rural calorie intake and urban calorie intake. Then the Tendulkar Committee is purely based on this accessibility of the poor people, and gave no importance to calorie based criteria, and the committee considered as the uniform poverty line across rural and urban India. Then Rangarajan Committee, constituted in the year 2012. The committee goes back to the idea of Lakdawala Committee method of calculating rural and urban poverty separately. The Rangarajan Committee is supporting the Lakdawala Committee. That Lakdawala Committee suggested the calorie intake was the basis of the estimating poverty. The Rangarajan Committee is follow the Lakdawala Committee the idea of calculating rural poverty and urban poverty separately. There is no uniformity in rural poverty and urban poverty. The Tendulkar Committee opined that there is a difference in rural poverty and urban poverty. Both are same, and there is uniformity in poverty line. Then the Rangarajan group took the view that consumption basket should contain a food component that satisfied certain minimum nutrition requirement, as well as the consumption expenditure on essential non-food item groups, besides the residual set of behaviorally determined non-food expenditure. Rangarajan group took the view that the consumption basket should contain food component. Consumption means is only food component. There is no importance to non-food components. They satisfied the minimum requirement, minimum nutrition requirement. The consumption expenditure on essential items, non-food item groups like education, clothing, conveyance and house rent, besides the residual set of behaviorally determined non-food expenditure. The people, they met the minimum nutritional requirement. Otherwise, they considered as the poor. As well as the consumption expenditure on essential non-food item groups are also considered to set the poverty line. Sri Rangarajan expert group report recommended a monthly per capita consumption expenditure of rupees 972 in rural area and rupees 1407 in urban area as the poverty line at the all India level. The Tendulkar committee stipulated a benchmark daily per capita expenditure of rupees 27. It was constituted in the year 2004-5. At that period, Tendulkar committee stipulated a benchmark daily per capita expenditure of rupees 27 and rupees 33 in rural and urban areas. 27 and 33 in rural and urban. There is a rupees 27 for rural areas as a per capita daily per capita expenditure. Then rupees 33 for urban area, and arrived at a cutoff of about 22% of the population below poverty line. After the estimation, they found that the 22% of the population below poverty line, according to Tendulkar committee. The condition is that rupees 27 he spent daily for their per capita expenditure in rural area. In urban area, rupees 33 is spent for a daily per capita expenditure. Sri Rangarajan expert group report recommended a monthly per capita consumption expenditure of rupees 972 in rural area and rupees 1407 in urban area as the poverty line at the all India level. The Rangarajan committee estimated poverty on the basis of the monthly per capita consumption expenditure. Tendulkar committee, we have to consider the daily per capita expenditure of rupees 27. Then the monthly per capita. Rangarajan committee recommended a monthly per capita consumption expenditure of rupees 972 in rural area and rupees 1407 in urban area as the poverty line. Assuming the 5 members for a family, this will imply a monthly per household expenditure of rupees 4,860. That was a monthly per capita consumption. Monthly per capita consumption. This assuming 5-member family, this will imply a monthly per household expenditure of rupees 4,860 in rural areas and rupees 7,035 in urban areas. The Rangarajan committee estimated a daily per capita expenditure of rupees 32 and rupees 47 in rural and urban areas respectively as the poverty line, and worked out poverty line close to 29.5. The daily per capita expenditure is a daily per capita expenditure for Tendulkar committee of rupees 27 and 33, rural 27 and urban 33. That's nearly the Rangarajan committee also the daily per capita expenditure of rupees 32 and rupees 47 is a slight difference. In the rural area is 27, is here is 32. And in urban area, in Tendulkar committee, the daily per capita expenditure is rupees 33. Here it is 47. In urban area, there is the constitution years are also different. The Tendulkar committee constituted in 2004-5. It's after 8 years after the Rangarajan committee is constituted. There is some differences in the daily per capita expenditure also. Then worked out poverty line at close to 29.5% people below poverty line. Here the 22% people below poverty line. Then as per Lekadawala committee, the percentage of population living below poverty line in 2004-5 in rural, urban and all India level is rural 28.3, urban 25.7%, all India 27.5. As per Tendulkar committee, the percentage of people below poverty line in 2004-5 as rural 41.8, urban 25.7, total 37.2. In the year 2011-12, it's rural 25.7, urban 13.7, total 21.9. The Rangarajan expert group estimate that 30.9% of the rural population and 26.4% of the urban population were below poverty line in 2011-12. All India ratio was 29.5%. And then there is some slight differences in the rural poverty line percentage, below poverty line percentage, and urban below poverty line percentage, and the total are also there is some slight differences in between these committees. estimation, poverty estimation. Okay, thank you.